one. There we go. Webber on the right of your screen. Alonso on the left. Who's going to get the run into turn 1? It's going to be very close indeed. So, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's go here in Hungary, and it's a good start for Mark Webber. A fantastic start for the Australian. He's got away from Alonso. Hamilton challenging Alonso for second place. As we head into turn 1, Webber leads. Look at Vettel. Vettel's free abreast with Alonso and Hamilton. Can Vettel take second? And he can, I think. Vettel up into second place. A fantastic start for Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton up to third. It's a terrible start for Fernando Alonso indeed. Perez up into 5th position. Bottas staying where he is at the moment. Everybody's got through the first couple of corners safely. Kimi Raikkonen all the way down in 22nd, but it's Webber who leads from Vettel in 2nd place, and it is Hamilton in 3rd position, tucked up behind Sebastian, and Webber just getting away from the pack right now. At the moment, he's one of the guys who hasn't even won a race this season. He could be the one who's doing that, but it's early days yet. On lap 1 or 77, Vettel in 2nd, and he's pulling away from Hamilton. Vettel pulling away from Hamilton. Vettel has clearly got some pace in that scooter here today. Does he have the pace to get up to Sebastian Vettel, that is? It would be a shocker if it was. Because Hungary does surprise a shocker in the past for quite a lot of drivers. And meanwhile, Hamilton 3rd, keeping back Alonso. Alonso having to worry about Sergio Perez now. Perez is in an Etihad sandwich right now of Alonso and Bottas as they now head for the right-hander. As it looks like the 2 AMP cars are battling for 7th place right now as we now head for the next lap of the track, and Perez tucked up to the back of Fernando Alonso. Alonso's probably like, what is going on? And sorry about that, but now down the pit straight, and Sebastian Vettel right now setting the fastest lap of the race, but he's got to worry about Lewis Hamilton. He's getting onto the backside. Meanwhile, Bottas having a look at Perez for 5th position, and he's got him. Bottas moving up to 5th position, and now on the turns with Fernando Alonso for 4th position right now. And Hulkenberg gets up to 7th past Verline into turn 1. And so far, Bird's doing a good job up in 18th right now as we now head up the hill. Hamilton all over the backside of Vettel for 2nd place. Vettel even defending into turn 4 right now as they now head for the long right hand. In fact, Vettel having to defend the inside again through turn 5 as they now head for the chicane. Webber just pulling away from the rest of the pack right now, and in fact the top 2 are breaking away from the 2 Etihads who at the moment Alonso's holding. Oh, there's a bit of an accident down at the chicane. It's Bottas. Bottas has had a little bit of an accident down at the chicane. What happened there? We need a replay. Let's go on board of him. So we head for the chicane, and well, oh, actually, he looks like he's got a problem. It's a transmission problem. So it didn't look like he got took out. Bottas is out with transmission problems straight away on the spot. Gee, oh dear me. His look of reliability is not going his way so far. Duran not even making a bad start. Ocon getting into the top 10 as of right now. As now, look at this. Hamilton all over the backside of Vettel for 2nd place. As there's confirmation Bottas out of the race as we now head for lap. As Webber will start lap 3 of this race. Vettel having to defend for Lewis Hamilton for 2nd place right now as they now head for the pit straight. Webber now sets the fastest lap of the race. Tucking up into his slipstream goes Hamilton. Hamilton looking to the inside of Vettel. Vettel defending the inside as Hamilton been able to get him down into turn 1. And yes, he has. Hamilton makes it a Thomas Cook 1-2. And he's up into 2nd place indeed. Vettel just didn't have an answer for the Brit there. And now Vettel's got to worry about the championship leader, Fernando Alonso, who's currently 4th right now. So it looks like Alonso just broke away from that train he was holding up. All because of Bottas. That's his transmission problem down at the chicane as they now head for turn 4. Alonso wants to try and get on terms with Vettel, and so far then, as we saw, Webber leads with Hamilton 2nd, Vettel 3rd, Alonso 4th, but Perez 5th, Hulkenberg 6th, Rosberg up to 7th. He's past Verline, who holds off the top 8 right now, but meanwhile Hamilton pulling away from Vettel, and it looks like Vettel will have to worry about Alonso next up. So as they now head for the right hand, there we go, as Verline wants to get back on terms with it. Meanwhile, Massa defending from Ocon. Ocon's making a comeback. We know that Ocon is very strong in the race, and now Ocon's on a charge to try and get past Massa, who got that podium in the last race in France. and Eldorado's first podium, and now, in fact, Perez is just holding up a train right now as Webber sets another fastest lap. Now Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap. Hello there. So now we head down the pit straight, and so far then, at the moment, Webber leads from Hamilton in second place. Ocon now looking to the inside of Massa, as it looked like Rosberg defended Perez. Sorry, Verline for 7th place, and Ocon moves up into 9th position. So Ocon on a charge right now and could be on terms for points yet again, as Rosberg and Verline still battle for that 7th place right now. And so far then, Vettel looks to be into the clutches of Fernando Alonso right now. And meanwhile, Vettel having to be wary that Alonso may attack him pretty soon, but still, Alonso just not able to get hold of him at the moment. And it's probably a little bit frustrating for Etihad right now, if you think about it, because as Perez is slowing, and he's got a suspension failure. Perez out of the race into turn 1. That's now going to put Ocon in the points. So yeah, so Perez becomes the second retirement today. So 2 retirements in the space of 7 laps. So that's that really. So Perez out of the race. So now we're down to 20 runners in this race, as Montoya is defending Duran for what would it be, 10th position. Vettel has clearly made Alonso get into his dirty air, and it has affected Alonso's car a bit. So clearly getting frustrated is Fernando Alonso, as they now head for turn number 4 on the track, as still this battle commences for the battle for 3rd. And so far then, been a good race so far then. Webber still keeping a decent lead between himself and Lewis Hamilton right now, as Verstappen's in the pits. Why is that? Verstappen's in the pits, and I just briefly saw that, and he's got a loose wheel. So Verstappen, the man who scored points in the last race, has got a loose wheel, and I don't know if you saw it there. Look, if you see on the bottom right, I don't know if you can see it because of the little volume thing. But it's on the right hand side where his loose wheel is. Now he's getting that repaired. But we must get back to the battle for 3rd position right now between Vettel, Alonso, and soon maybe Nico Hülkenberg, as they now head for the left-hander. Right now, it does look like Vettel has pulled away significantly from Fernando Alonso. So Alonso probably just hanging back maybe. Maybe he's probably got to wait for the pit stops. Who knows? To try and leapfrog Sebastian Vettel. Meanwhile, Hamilton still on the charge right now, as we look at Ocon, who has got past Verline earlier on in the race. So while we were looking at the battle for 3rd, Ocon is up to 7th and past Verline. Now his next target is Nico Rosberg for 6th position. So maybe Ocon's trying to get up the field. Maybe he wants to try and help his teammate, who's having maybe just a little bit of trouble trying to fend off Fernando Alonso right now, as they now head down into turn 1 on the track. He probably would be there to try and attack Vettel. It just seems like a terrible weekend for Etihad, one they probably want to put to bed really, in terms of pace. So I think this is probably going to be just a one-off for Etihad. Oh god, that's an engine for Ocon. That is an engine for Ocon, as we just saw Montoya in the pits. Looks like for a scheduled stop. And Montoya pits then. And it looks like the GB mechanics are ready for the pits as well. Sam Bird coming into the pits. Question is it 2-terminal for Ocon? That is the question. As the 2 leaders come up to traffic. So, where's Ocon? There he is. Is it 2-terminal for him, as Verline gets back up to 7th as a result? They go around the chicane. And that's a fire. That is a fire. That has turned into a barbecue behind that Scuderia car. And let's see. Is it 2-terminal? That's the thing. And he's pulling off. Ocon is pulling off. It's 2-terminal. Such a shame that he was on an amazing comeback, and it's all just gone up in, well, literally gone up in smoke. So Ocon out of the race as Hülkenberg pits. Such a shame for Ocon, having a very good race indeed. They didn't bring an upgrade, of course, to this race, unfortunately, but they're hoping to probably bring one in Belgium. Probably not in the young drivers test tomorrow, but hopefully in time for Belgium. Hulkenberg and Duran and that lot have been in the pit. So when are we expecting the rest of them to pit? We shouldn't expect Vettel or Alonso to pit anytime soon. In fact, Vettel's lap bird, and it looks like he's pulling away now a lot from Fernando Alonso as we now head for the chicane. And you said Oliver Rowland as your second one, Ian Eskew, don't you remember? So now into the last part of the course, as Lewis Hamilton is in the pits. The man in second place, Lewis Hamilton, pits. Let's see how well the mechanics can do on his car as he now heads for pit lane. As he pulls now into his box. And Hamilton just pulls in, and let's see what he can do then. So let's see what the stop is. It's a 12.8 second stop for Lewis Hamilton, as it looked like somebody else was in the pits with him. I don't know if I could tell that. Where's Lewis going to rejoin? He rejoins in 6th position. Meanwhile, Felipe Massa is in the pits. And let's... Felipe Massa, and meanwhile Webber's not going to be pitting anytime soon yet. So now we look at Sebastian Vettel, who won't be pitting anytime soon, and Walter Alonso. So it looks like Hamilton was on a little bit of a light fuel load, and lighter fuel load than the rest of them. Maybe still a two-stop strategy, but it seems that he had a little bit less fuel on the grid than what the others did. So that's probably why he's pitted a lot earlier than the rest of the leaders have, such as his teammate Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso is concerned, maybe even Nico Hulkenberg. Meanwhile, we know that Rosberg's going to be pitting. In fact, I think Hulkenberg already pit, didn't they? Never mind. Now Rosberg's in the pits, and let's see then. So as you can see, the pit lane entrance is a little bit different to what you know it as. At this point, this one's got a chicane in it, whereas nowadays it doesn't anymore. So that's why. So now we're in the pits. Rosberg's into his box, and let's see how long the pit stop is. So let's see. And the stop for them is a 12.2 second stop from Orange Racing. Let's see when Nico rejoins, and Nico is going to rejoin in 9th position. There you go. So that's that then. So meanwhile, Vettel still in second place along with Alonso. These two are still, of course, along with the race leader, are still yet to make their pit stop as they now head for the second to last corner on the track. And Alonso's still struggling to get on the back of Sebastian Vettel right now, as now out of the last corner we go, down the pit straight, and let's see, so through turn 1 then goes Alonso, as through turn 2, and then around turn 3 we go, as they now go up the hill towards turn 4 on the track. And it's all looking good right now then for Fernando Alonso. Well, not good for Fernando Alonso, I should say. I don't know what I was saying there, but maybe he's just hanging back while we speak of him. Maybe he's just hanging back, like I said. Maybe he doesn't want to get in the dirty air with Sebastian Vettel, and maybe he's just waiting for the pit stops at the moment. I would presume that the pair of them are probably going to be pitting at the same time as each other, compared as we saw the fuel looked a little bit similar to each other. So I think we should expect Seb and Fernando to pit at the same time as each other. So really, Alonso's got to hope that his mechanics pick a lot quicker than him, than the Scuderia team, to get him out in front. But right now, he's got to make sure he's close onto the back of Sebastian if he wants to do that. And so far, he's not able to do that. So far as we saw Frins come into the pits there. So Frins is in from 17th position. Let's see how quick the Monster Grand Prix mechanics are. He's jobless for next season. He got released from his 2-year deal. Which I honestly don't see why, because he's done a good job this season. So I think that might have been a little bit harsh on them, but oh well, team decision. They still yet to confirm their engine suppliers for next season. They will not, as they only had a contract with Mercedes for 1 season, and so far Mercedes has not given them the best of engines along with Schmidt. We'll have to wait and see what happens to them next season, what sort of engine they'll probably get next season, whether they'll stick with Mercedes or go with another tyre supplier. So, yeah, so Vettel, at the moment, when are they going to be pitting? So he's not pitting yet, and nor is Alonso. I would expect probably the pair of them to probably pit around the next lap, maybe. Maybe the same for Webber as well. I would expect that. No, actually, Webber's actually got more fuel on board than what Vettel and Alonso have right now. So now they're heading down the pit straight. Let's see if they have the green light shown up. No, they're not. I think the pair of them are going to stay out for another lap. So around that second last corner, looks like somebody did a lock up very heavily through there. Vettel's in, as is Fernando Alonso. There he is, look, in Vettel's mirrors on the right, if you can see. And so let's see how quick this stop is going to be for either one of them. In fact, we're going to have a look at Alonso because his pit lane, his pit box is actually a little bit closer to Vettel's. Vettel has to go a little bit further down. So let's see what the box is then for Etihad. And let's see then. So Alonso in his box, and let's see how quick the stop is going to be. It's an 11.1 second stop. Vettel on the other hand. Oh God, he's having to wait. Alonso was too close, and Alonso's leapfrogged him in the pits. Alonso has leapfrogged Vettel in the pit. Clearly, Alonso had a quicker stop than Vettel and was too close for Vettel to go past him. There's a little bit of a strict rule on Grand Prix 3 where they're not allowed to go side by side in the pit because it is considered a little bit of a danger hazard. And as a result, Alonso was clearly too close to Vettel, and as a result, Alonso has leapfrogged Vettel in the pits. So that is a disaster for the German. He's out of that podium as Hulkenberg finally gets past Heifeld, but he's lost a ton of time compared to Alonso and Vettel, and now Alonso is released in 3rd position. So now, does he have the pace to get up to the 2 Thomas Cooks? They are well ahead of him at the moment. Hamilton's there, and is Webber in the pits yet? No, he's still yet to pit, remember? Pretty much these laps for Hamilton, they're pretty much a pushing lap because he's on a lighter fuel load, he's got to push in order if he wants to get leapfrog Webber for the lead of this race, as Raikkonen has just come into the pits for his stop, and he'll be rejoining pretty soon. He's also jobless for next season as well. So there's only 3 seats available for next season, so whether he'll end up getting one of those seats, it's another question. So, I think that's the first time I've ever seen something like that happen in the pits before. So, I think you would have seen, if there was cameras in the pit box, you would have seen James Wallace's face he would have been absolutely furious right now. Now, that they weren't able to make a quicker stop than what Etihad could. But it's clearly a celebration for the Etihad team. They finally got him out in front of Vettel after being stuck behind him for far too long. Heifeld's in the pits now from 12th position after being, well, a little bit of a hold up for people at the front of the field. As it looks like Grosjean will be coming in pretty soon. So Heifeld comes out of his box, and it is Grosjean who's pitting. So it looks like Webber's again stayed out. Yes, he has, and he doesn't look like he's pitting this lap either, so maybe he might be pitting it next lap then. So Grosjean into his box. Webber is now on, I believe, lap excuse me, lap 31 of 77. So yeah, as an 11.1 second stop for Grosjean, so the same amount of time as what Etihad did. So very good stop from the Schmidt mechanics. as Alonso just comes around that final corner. Vettel's got to push hard now if he wants to get back onto the back of Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, Wehrlein is all over the backside of Felipe Massa for 7th place. And as Massa again defends the inside from Wehrlein as Webber pits. Mark Webber is in the pit. Now, we need to keep an eye on Lewis Hamilton right now, see if he's been doing enough. He looks a little bit too far away, to be honest. But you never know, of course. It is quite a slow pit lane in Hungary. Webber is in from the lead. So we need to see. It does look like the Webber's probably going to still come out in front of Lewis. So Lewis did not do enough to push in some hot laps to get in front of him. The question is, what will the gap be once they meet up again? Webber's still in his... Actually, in fact, Webber's only just rejoining. Whereas Hamilton's coming down the pit straight now. Webber's just coming down the pit exit. Has Lewis done enough to take the lead? I think he might. Yes, he has. Lewis Hamilton leads the race. Lewis leads from Mark Webber, but Mark Webber's just tucked up into his slipstream. So Lewis Hamilton has leapfrogged Mark Webber in the pit, and Lewis leads here in Hungary. That is exactly what Lewis wanted right now, as he now leads ahead of Mark Webber. So now up the hill we go then. Can Webber get Hamilton back then? That is the question. Does Webber have the pace to get Lewis back for the lead right now as they now head for turn 5? It looks like Webber's all over the backside. It's clear that Webber is maybe the quicker driver. Clearly, this stint may pay off for Webber. Clearly, Webber did not like the fact that Hamilton leapfrogged him in the pits, and he now wants to get him back. So now the Thomas Cooks are into combat with each other for the lead of this race as they now head for the turns 10 and 11 section, as they now head for the last bit of the course. Is Webber going to be able to get his teammate back for the lead? Let's see. They now head for the second to last corner on the track, and let's see if he's able to do so. So up the hill then goes Mark Webber, and now Webber round the final corner he goes. And let's see then, so down the pit straight, is Webber going to get his teammate back for the lead? He's tucked up into Lewis's slipstream. And now looking to the inside, can Webber take the lead? But Hamilton doesn't even defend, maybe because Team Radio, and Webber gets the lead back off Lewis Hamilton. So Webber retakes the lead from Lewis Hamilton as Button makes his pit stop. Now let's see what the gap is like then, since that battle's been happening. Let's see how far Alonso is compared to the leaders. And it is 14.3, so gained a 10th from them the last time we checked. So Vettel looks like he's falling back a bit from Alonso, but I'll have to hope that Grosjean gives him a little bit of a helping hand to hopefully hold up Romain Grosjean right now, as they now head for, as Webber now starts to pull away from Hamilton. So the lead short-lived then for Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Räikkönen to try and lap him, and it looks like Räikkönen might give these guys a bit of a hard time as they now head to turn 2. And in terms of this track, I personally like the track. I really love Hungary. I find it a really good track. I've always seemed to. As Webber's out, the race leader's out of the race. The race leader's out. What's happened to Webber? What has happened to Webber? He's got an electrical problem. The race leader is out of the race. What a shame! Lewis Hamilton now leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. That leaves Alonso up into second, and Vettel back onto the podium. So, a ton of events, and that's going to put Duran into the points now. So these three are now going to be the battle for 5th. What a ton of events. Webber out of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the race leader. And I bet the Thomas Cook team boss, Robert Hunter, is kicking himself in the cockpit. A potential 1-2 has slipped from their fingers, and a potential first win for Webber has gone out of the window. It's such a shame. Now Wehrlein tucked up now into the second to last corner, and now Wehrlein trying to take 6th now from Felipe Massa as they now head for the last corner now, and so it means that Wehrlein will still keep hold of that 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship, I think. So yeah, so as Bird's now out, another retirement, and it's GB Racing woes, as it is suspension failure that takes care of Sam Bird. So Bird now out of the race. We're now down to 18 runners now. And so Bird's now out of the race. And so now back to the battle for 6th. Where, you know, Verline just doesn't have the straight line speed compared to it. Oh, wrong camera. Let's go to the onboard just to compare it. And just look at that. Just look at that. He just doesn't have the straight line speed. And oh, Rosberg's off! Nico Rosberg's off in the gravel. No, let's have a look at the replay. Rosberg has just gone off into turn 1 and has just thrown away 5th position. It just looks like he's just carried too much speed on the speed off and it's just spun around turn 1 there. So that's lifted Massa up into 5th position. And, well, that's that then, really. So that might even give his teammate the points. And it looks like he's waiting for a gap in the traffic. Hamilton's about to start lap 47. Alonso, let's see what the gap is between those two right now. So that was a bit of a rookie error there from Nico Rosberg. As now, let's see what the gap is now then between Alonso and Hamilton for the lead. Let's see. The gap is between the pair of them. There's the yellow flag still. Rosberg's still there. 9.2. So the gap hasn't come down enough as Rosberg's been able to rejoin in 11th and a lap down. So clearly France has come back to haunt him. Clearly there. And, well, France all over for Rosberg as Verstappen pits. So he's the first to make his 2nd stop of the race. In fact, he was one of the early runners to come into the pits, wasn't he? So, in fact, he had that loose wheel now, I remember. So that's probably why he's now making his 2nd stop. This should, if I'm correct, and I am, this should see him to the end of the race now. So he's now able to continue throughout the remainder of this race. And meanwhile, Hamilton's still leading. He'll be starting lap 48 off 77. Alonso coming up to traffic, which is Ricciardo. And still trying his best to get on terms with with Lewis Hamilton, the race leader, his closest rival in the championship. Right now, Verline still behind Massa. Right now, the man who's now on the points is Juan Pablo Montoya, who's on that final point as of right now. Vettel looking lonely in 3rd position as they now head for the chicane. And through turns 8 and 9. And this is still developing then, this battle for 5th, now 5th I should say, because of Rosberg's mistake. A battle for 5th then between Massa and Verline. And once again, the SIC being consistent as usual. Whenever something's happened in front, they're always there in the points. Durand currently in 7th place right now, and Heifeld only 1 place out of the points. In fact, Verline's coming into the pit, so he's hoping he can try and leapfrog Massa then. So Verline pits for his 2nd stop of the race. So this is going to be a battle we've got to keep an eye on then between Massa and Verline. So into the pits then comes Pascal as he pulls into his box. And let's see then. So let's see how quick the stop is for AMP then. So the pit stop is an 11.6 second stop. So a good stop from the AMP mechanics as Massa's out. No! Massa's out! No, so he doesn't really need to battle with Massa. Suspension failure takes care of Felipe Massa. And who does that put in the points? That puts Heifeld in the points now. So both SICs are in the points now. So what a shame for Eldorado after a podium for Massa. Massa taken care of by suspension failure. We're now down to 16 runners. Massa out of the race with suspension failure. And I wonder when... Let's see what the gap is now between Alonso and Hamilton. I wouldn't be surprised if it's pulled away now because Alonso's negotiating traffic. He's now coming up to that yellow flag section. It's 9 seconds, so he's not gaining as much as he wants to on Lewis Hamilton right now. 9.3 between himself and Vettel, so he's still pulling away from Vettel. And it puts Rosberg back in the top 10 as a result of Massa retiring. So really, Verline doesn't really need to battle now. He's now in 5th position right now. So Such a shame for Massa after developing brilliantly from Verline and getting that podium in the last race. It's just back to reality for El Dorado right now. So Hamilton still leading the race. I wonder when he's going to pit. That's the thing. It's maybe in a couple, maybe 3 laps time, probably maybe 3 or 4 laps time. I'd say Alonso probably the same as well. So I would presume that the pair of them probably going to be pitting maybe around on the same lap, or maybe 1 lap between them. So with Fernando coming in first, of course. Duran in the pits from what will be now 6th position, and let's see what his stop's going to be. It's an 11.4 second stop, so I think that's around about the same time or slightly quicker than the AMP cars. I'm not 100% sure. As out of the box then goes Duran, and he rejoins in 8th position, just in front of Alonso, who's about to lap him, and it's, I don't think it's 8.7 now then between Hamilton and Alonso. So the pair of them negotiating traffic. So the gap is going up, down, up, down, up, down right now. So that's that right now, as they now head for the chicane. Hamilton's really stuck behind traffic. Does this give Alonso a little bit of an advantage? Let's see. Hamilton's still struggling. Remember, Alonso's going to have to come up to this traffic. Hamilton's struggling to get past this traffic right now. This is not what he wants. This is advantage Alonso right now in the process. And he eventually gets past one of the back markers. But that is costly for Hamilton right now. At the same time, Alonso will be coming up to this same set of traffic right now, as we saw Hulkenberg on the top of the screen pit. So Hamilton will soon be starting, I think, lap 51, if I'm correct. Lap 51 off 77 in this race. And so all looking, well, a little bit up and down at the moment, because it is essentially Alonso's now on the same straight as Hamilton as a result of him getting held up by that traffic. It's once again Hamilton versus Alonso part 2. That's what it essentially is right now. It's Spain part 2 between these two, who with Alonso on the chase, with Alonso chasing again. So at the moment then, so it's still Hamilton leading with Alonso second, Vettel third, with for now it is Montoya fourth, but he's there to make a pit stop. Hulkenberg fifth, and then it is Heifeld sixth with Verline seventh, and I believe it is Duran who runs out the top 8 right now. Hamilton's still negotiating traffic right now, and he's still struggling, and Alonso's not that far from him. But remember, Alonso's got to negotiate the same amount of traffic, so this is not helping Lewis right now. It is not helping his cause right now. And I don't know when we're going to be seeing Alonso pitting. Maybe in a couple of laps' time we will see the championship leader pit. So that's when we'll probably see it happening. As we now head for as Montoya now pits from 4th position, so we'll hand back 4th to Nico Hulkenberg. Hamilton still negotiating traffic. Luckily, Alonso's not that close to him. Montoya pits. And let's see then. So, Montoya rejoins in 10th position. So that's where he rejoined. He's behind his teammate, and Vettel is going to lap the pair of them pretty soon. So, that's that then, really. And so looks like these two Mine Jones racing cars are going to be going into combat just for a tiny bit. I don't know if Nico's already I don't think Nico's pitted yet. No, so this is not really a battle then, as such. Hamilton has now cleared that big gaggle of traffic, so now it's Alonso's turn to clear it. And so, not listening to that, Ollie. Now, because there's not really a battle yet between these two right now. Raikkonen's in the pits. I think that one we'll ignore, actually. So, maybe we'll know some people, maybe not. But we will cut to people who are important. So, Look at that gaggle of cars. Even Verline himself struggling to lap everyone right now. And even Duran. So, Hamilton's got... Because Alonso's still negotiating this traffic right now. As the gap is 4.3 as a result of Hamilton being glunged up in that traffic. And he's coming up to lap... I think that's Frins. I might be wrong there. So, Alonso... just going around turn 2. As now, up the hill then goes Alonso. As he heads for turns... I forgot what turn name that is. It's turn 6, I think. No, totally not turn 6. Turn 4. I don't know where I got 6 from. Alonso now in this traffic. As he's about to lap the monster car of... I think that is... Friends, actually. So the man that Hamilton lapped earlier was D'Ambrosio. I do apologise. So, Alonso... now coming up to that gaggle of cars he's about to lap. So this is the gaggle of cars, I think, that Hamilton got stuck behind. So will this affect Alonso? That's the thing, as he now heads for the second to last corner on the track. As in fact, Alonso's pitting. So we won't even need to know, as it looks like one of the SICs is in as well. It's Nick Heifeld. So Heifeld pits, so he gets out of that. So Alonso's now in the pit on lap 53 of 77. So this might be a crucial start. I think we should expect Hamilton to pit the next lap then. So Heifeld's in, Alonso's in. It looks like one of the GP Racing cars is in as well. That looks like Jenson Button in the pits. So let's see how quick this stop is with Fernando Alonso. And it is a 10.3 second stop. A very quick stop from the Etihad mechanics, and it is Button who's in the pits. We can confirm. And where's Alonso going to rejoin then? Vettel for now is in second place, but he will be pitting pretty soon. So where is he going to rejoin? Alonso rejoins in third position. So that's where he's rejoined. And so that's that then, really. So Hamilton, I think he's probably pitting this lap. Yes, he is. So Hamilton is pitting this lap. And so we'll keep an eye out on him then. So Hamilton coming out that corner. And he's just coming around the last section of the course. And he will be ducking into the pits. He'll take a wider line into the pits, of course. And there you go. Into the pit zone comes Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton pits from the lead of this race. Let's see. I think he'll still be out ahead of Alonso, of course. But the question is, what will the gap be after he pits? So into the pits then comes Lewis Hamilton. And let's see. So Hamilton pulls into his box. He's chasing for his third win of the season. And to cut the gap between himself and Alonso to what will be 10 points if the top two stays as it is. So let's see what the stop is for Thomas Cook. It's a 10-second stop exactly, quicker than the Etihad. A good stop for the Thomas Cook mechanics. Will cut to Vettel later on. Where is Alonso? Alonso is... in fact, where is he? He's just in second place. Hamilton is just out in front of him. So what is the gap between the pair of them? I think we've just missed it, I'm afraid, so we'll have to keep an eye out on there. Vettel has finished his stop and still rejoins on the podium. We're on lap 55 of 77, and we have a battle for the lead between Alonso and Hamilton. So we didn't see what the gap was. It's 2.7 between Hamilton and Alonso, so Alonso's gaining as a result of Hamilton negotiating the traffic with Grosjean, and now Montoya's having a little bit of trouble trying to negotiate Romain Grosjean as well, but he should get past him really easy. These are the same two cars that Alonso has to negotiate as well as Montoya. Oh, Alonso made a mistake as a result of that. I don't know whether it's because he got shoved by these two, but Alonso just made a mistake. I don't know if you just saw that there, but Alonso just went into the grass and he was so lucky he just avoided the wall there. I don't know if it's because he got squished by these two, which meant he couldn't find a way past. He's probably doing the Alonso gesture in the cockpit right now. But that was a bit of a scare for Alonso there. He needs to gather it back up. So he just needs to watch out. A couple of attempts off Lewis there. So Alonso is catching back up to Lewis as they now head for Lewis now heads for turn 4. And hopefully for season 2. Well, not hopefully, it will happen. There's Button's now out. Jenson Button's now out of the race. What's happened to him? him. So the second GB racing car is pulled off to the side of the track, and he's got a puncture, which has obviously damaged the suspension. So Button now out of the race, and that's taken care of him then. So both GB Racings out yet again. Doesn't seem like reliability is improving for them anytime soon. So back with Fernando Alonso we'll look at then. Back to Fernando Alonso. There's confirmation again that Button is now out of the race. As we look at Alonso then, he's just lapped Salvador Duran. He'll be coming up to lap as Ricciardo's now out. What a shame. Ricciardo's now out of this race. Where's Ricciardo? There he is. Transmission problem takes care of him. Such a shame, but I think he will still be classified, as I believe he has completed 90% of the race distance. So he will be classified indeed, but such a shame. So he does get his first finish of the season, even if it is even though it is 90% of the race distance he has completed. So, and he's going to come around the final corner, and he will start his final lap here in Hungary. I've already mentioned what a race it's been for him. Well, not really much of a race, eh? Oh, in fact, he's won already. I do apologise. Lewis Hamilton has won the race. I only just realised that. Fernando Alonso crosses the line second, so Lewis Hamilton wins his third ever race. What a cock up from my part there. So, let's go. Here he is. Sebastian Vettel is finally going to finish a race around the final corner, but most importantly, he's going to pick up Scuderia's first ever podium. Sebastian Vettel finished in third position. And what a good amount of points for Scuderia. They are you probably heard me brother there. They are celebrating right now. Scuderia pick up their first ever podium in IFMC. I do apologise for the little cock-up a bit there, but Lewis Hamilton wins his third ever race in IFMC. He cuts the gap between himself and Fernando Alonso. I probably got too distracted by talking too much, but Lewis Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel finishes his first race in this series and picks up his first podium. Hulkenberg crosses the line in 4th, Verlaine has crossed the line 5th, Duran 6th, Montoya 7th, and Heifeld 8th. Is that everybody across the line? No, D'Ambrosio picks up 13th and Friends 14th position. But what a weekend for Lewis Hamilton. Well, not a weekend, but a great race for Lewis Hamilton. He picks up his third win and cuts the gap between himself and Fernando Alonso in the Drivers' Championship. So a reminder then of the race results. It's Lewis Hamilton who finished first, with Fernando Alonso in second place. Sebastian Vettel picks up his first podium in third, with Nico Hulkenberg in 4th, and then it is Pascal Wehrlein 5th, with Duran 6th, Montoya 7th, with Heifeld rounding out the points in 8th. Then it is Rosberg who finished 9th, with Max Verstappen finishing 10th. And then it is Romain Grosjean 11th, Kimi Räikkönen 12th, Jerome D'Ambrosio 13th, and Robin Friends being the final finisher in 14th position indeed. Disappointing for him, considering he scored points for Monster Grand Prix in the last race. But now it's just back to reality for both him and Jerome D'Ambrosio indeed. But still, an okay weekend for Monster indeed, even though being behind the Mercedes competitors, or rivals as you should say, Schmidt Racing Incorporated. Now we go down the field, and as you can see, it is confirmed there, Ricciardo did complete 90% of the race season, so he finishes his first race in this series. So he finished classified in 15th position, which means the retirements were Jenson Button, Felipe Massa, Sam Bird, Mark Webber, Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez, and Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.